2 days into September, 31 before Christ. The Gulf of Actium smells like burning pine and salt sweat. 400 of Octavian's galleys sit on the horizon like a dark stain at the mouth of the strait. And Mark Antony, inside the flagship, knows he won't win this war on land. He has known for weeks. Deserters cross to Octavian's side in silence, at night, like water seeping through a crack. Fever has killed more men than any swordsman, and the provisions at the Actium camp have been rotting since July. He still has 250 galleys fit to sail, the largest in the Mediterranean, wooden towers loaded with fully armored legionaries, bronze rams at the bow. But Agrippa is on the other side, and Agrippa never loses a naval battle. The morning starts calm, wind almost zero, sea flat as cast bronze. Antony's galleys exit the strait in crescent formation, prows facing open water. Cleopatra stays behind with 60 Egyptian ships carrying the treasury. The plan is not to win, it is to escape. And then something appears to the southeast. It is not a cloud. Clouds don't reflect light like that, don't carry that impossible geometry on the horizon. A dark gray rectangle, absolutely still, long as a city, and at a height none of the navigators aboard the galleys can calculate because no human reference exists for comparison. 342 meters in length, 79 meters wide at the broadest section of the flight deck. Displacement of 100,000 tons. The USS Nimitz, a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier of the United States Navy, should not exist in this sea, this century, this reasonable universe. It exists. The oarsmen in the lower rows of the trireme stop first. They receive no order to stop. They stop because the instinct of self-preservation overrides any military training. An object of that size moves without sail, without visible oar, without the sound of a hull cutting water, at 30 knots. 30 knots is twice the maximum speed of a trireme at ramming sprint. The sound that arrives is a deep, continuous rumble, below the threshold of what the human ear processes as sound, more like pressure in the chest, like thunder that never stops. The helmsman of Sosius's galley, commander of Antony's left flank, lets go of the rudder, not from cowardice. His hand simply opens. Aboard the Nimitz, the strike group commander is looking at the same sea with entirely different eyes. His surface radars are tracking 450 wooden signatures moving in coordinated tactical formation. None of them transmit an IFF signal, identification friend or foe, because none of them exist in any known threat database. His F-18 Hornets are on deck, ready. Each aircraft carries 4 AGM-65 Maverick air-to-surface missiles, a range of 25 kilometers, a 57-kilogram warhead. He could sink Antony's entire fleet in under 40 minutes without a single galley coming within 18 kilometers of the carrier's hull. He doesn't do it. Not because he has orders not to. He has no orders at all, because no protocol exists for this. He doesn't do it because any offensive action here, in this sea, on this day, implies a chain of consequences that no rules of engagement manual covers. Sinking Antony's fleet saves Octavian, prevents the birth of the Roman Empire, creates a power vacuum that pulls the Mediterranean toward what? An Egyptian hegemony, a fragmentation of the provinces, the collapse of the grain trade route. The intelligence officer beside the commander starts to speak and stops mid-sentence because he realizes he has no vocabulary to finish the thought. Out on the water, Antony's crescent formation dissolves. Not by tactical decision. It dissolves because oarsmen on 300 ships stop simultaneously without coordination, driven by the same paralysis, and a fleet without oars has no formation, it has drift. The legionaries in the tower stare at that gray wall still advancing slowly, methodically, unhurried, as though the sea belongs to it by natural right. One soldier on Sosius's flank, an Aquilifer of the Legio III Cyrenaica, who survived 2 campaigns in Syria and never ran from anything, drops the eagle. The metal hits the wooden deck with a dry, flat sound. Cleopatra sees everything from the rear guard. She is the only person in that battle with enough information to make a rational calculation, and the calculation she makes is the same one she always makes. Survive. She gives the sail order. The 60 Egyptian ships open their sails to the northwest wind, now beginning to blow and turn south, toward open sea, toward Egypt. Antony follows her, as always. The Nimitz does not pursue them. The Nimitz holds its course, passing between the two sides of a battle that is no longer a battle. It is an archipelago of drifting wood, men jumping into the sea, galleys colliding without an enemy. The Phalanx CIWS systems rotate automatically, tracking the nearest airborne objects, which are seagulls. No shot is fired. No aircraft launches. Octavian, watching from the northern shore with Titus Statilius Taurus, does not understand what he just won. His admirals don't either. Agrippa, the finest naval officer Rome ever produced, stands at the stern of the flagship staring at that structure retreating slowly toward the southern horizon. And what he feels is not victory. It is the certainty that something exists in the world that has no need of him whatsoever.